this is a chance to earn extra credit. It's going to be at 3:40 to is at 5 p.m. So this is like a speaker series. I think the speaker's name Jared. Adrian, what's the topic? Tell us what's the topic.
Left behind, millennials, and the American dream.
Left behind. For the young generation like you, known as millennial. Wow, you see it coming up. So if you attend this event, right, and you sign the attendance sheet and you attend the full session, not just like sign the sheet and then you disappear, because I'll be there. Okay, if you just attend, sign the sheet, and I hope you stay to the end, you get 2 points. 2 points for attendance. And if you write a summary, half a page only handwritten, 3 more points.
Oh, that sounds good.
For half a page summary. This makes a lot of difference, I tell you. So, yeah. And you also earn passport credit. Some of you other classes, business classes, your professor already give you incentive to do that. So sometimes if you take 3 or 4 business classes, you earn like 3 to 4 times more credit than other people. So we give credits like that for attendance, and it will count towards passport credit goes by your attendance sheet. So the lady who's in charge of passport will enter. So let me say something about this. Be sure you get the full instruction and not half, because I have so many students miss the instruction. 3 points for half a page summary, handwritten. Once again, I like to see your handwriting. Do not hire someone to write it for you. Only half a page. If you go over, I will not read it. I only read half a page and then that's it. Stop there. Okay, so turn in. When? At the end of the session, yes. Do not turn it in the next day or the next class. Because I have students who turn in during the next class, which is 2 days later. She copied everything, what the reporter wrote about the speaker. So please don't do it. Only count if you turn it in at the end of the session. Look for me, I'll be there. If I'm not there, I will designate someone to collect on my behalf, but I know I will be there.
So we need
Okay.
to write it and turn it in due before we leave.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, yeah. So to be sure that you attend the whole session, and sometimes students have to leave, absolutely, because of work conflict. You could give it to me in the middle. I hope you stay to the end. Yeah. So, half a page of summary, basically, don't write all the details, write the gist. Sometimes students wrote so much detail like, oh, he and his wife, they talk about this. Now, all these details lead to a point, so gist. So this is a writing class, so you're learning how to write concisely and precisely. Any questions on that? Nope. Katie, do you have a question? Nope. Okay. So, one other thing, this is very exciting. Dinner at 6. Oh, wait. There's a reception follows this. Reception means food, basically. Finger food, all that. So if you're hungry, come, but there's a dinner. This dinner is by invitation only, okay? Dinner at 6 p.m. with speakers and school of business professor, this boring bunch. Do I have a volunteer to want to attend? I can only take one in this class. So you don't know what you're getting into. So you want to find out more. The dinner will be served, very nice. Sit down. There will be like 3 or 4 round tables, and then you get to sit with professor. Other students will be there. You're not going to be the only one, please. Do I have any taker?
Extra credit or no?
Well, since
Is
you
the dinner
interact,
supposed to be
since you interact same night, yeah. This one will finish at 5 and then 6 p.m. You get partial credit, but if you do this, you get.
So you get credit for it?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
will count for the attendance, right? You're not gonna get more. You get a chance to dress up, ladies.
I'll do it.
Oh, she's fast. She got it. She raised her hand.
I said it.
I know. We could take one more, I mean, just in case she bails out.
Can we do
Okay, all right, so that would be Melanie and Haley, right? I will need for you to. There will be chances like that coming up, so be sure you raise your hand before I finish my sentence. Last class, I didn't even finish my sentence, they raised their hand so fast.
Before you finish your sentence, I need to know everything.
But I will keep you in mind if you, there will be another one coming the following week. Do I have a taker?
What is it?
Well, the same thing.
thing.
Would you like to be on the other one?
What do you want
don't
us to
know
write on this?
yet. Just your email. Right beside it, both of your email address. I have to turn it in to Dr. Mensah so you get an invitation. See, like I said, we got exciting events like that you can participate and you get a chance to speak, sit with professors, which is I'd like to get to know how students are looking at that, so give us a chance. Are we starting a new chapters today, or we?
We finished with the.
Oh, yeah, we see in
the-
chapter
the
4.
foundation.
Oh, man. Yes, question? Yes.
Where is this?
Oh, whoa. Thank you. Add more. Okay, snap a picture with your cell phone. This is the only time you're allowed to use cell phone, and then be sure you put it away. Out of sight. What, Nick, you wanna go? They had food. Well, you went last year, right?
Kind of food.
Did you like the food? You didn't stay for the food, I could tell, yeah. Okay. All right. But hopefully, those of you who want to go, you also attend this, okay? This one is kind of like a bonus. So if you attend this helps you more. So don't just come for the dinner without attending that, because it was some student who misunderstood you won't know what to talk to your speaker, if you didn't attend the session, you just, oh yeah, that pertained to both of you. So I hope you attend the session as well, yeah, okay, good. And that is optional if you could do it, if you could make it, because some of you may not be able to do it. So we have another one coming out, I think it's the following week. I believe it's on a Tuesday. I couldn't get the handout early enough, so.
Are all of these extra
That's
credits?
extra credit.
I'm sorry, yep, it's gonna be the same, yeah. So, I think I'll announce it next week because it's too confusing to announce both at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're counting the cost, yes, 1 million cost, how about that? Oh, whoa! What happened? There's a button here, one. Whoa, what a discovery. Y'all brought me away. I shall remember this class. This is like,
How high can you make
so
it?
long. This was
Yeah, how
time. Let's
high
play
can
with it.
Raise it all the way. See how high it goes.
I'm sorry?
See how high it goes.
Oh, come on. Y'all can't be serious.
Please.
We'll do it at the end of class. Someone remind me.
Forget.
I can't believe it. See how high it goes. Oh. Well, that's good. At least you didn't ask me to see how low you go. You see, so you're high achiever. You're thinking maximum. You're going forward for that A. You aim for A. You're not aiming for a F. Very good. Yeah, we want to be positive. Yes. Get some blood going, right? So we won't have to do push-up, right? During the class. Okay, how many of you please tell me what are the 4 methods we talk about in calculating GDP? Raise your hand if you want a chance to answer it. Okay, Daniel?
Production, expenditure.
Oh, okay, stop right there. How about the next person over here? I think I see somebody. Somebody else raise a hand here, okay. Jacqueline.
Investment.
No.
No.
Okay, wait, Daniel, please,
Nice.
Daniel, yeah.
You want me
Please,
to?
do it again. Tell me the first two you mentioned.
Production and
Production.
expenditure.
Expenditure, very good. We're not talking about components of GDP using expenditure method, yes. Yes, Kiana?
Value added and
Very
income.
good. Value added, and what's the last one?
Income.
I'm sorry? Oh, income, yes. How can I forget that? Okay, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna use you have already looked at expenditure method, which is using the C plus I plus E plus NX. Okay, and this is the most important one. 5-star. Because in your next set of homework, already talking about the next set of homework, you will be using that method to explain your homework. Yeah, when is that one due? Is that Monday? I mean, is it next Tuesday? Could somebody look it up quickly? Is it? Okay, so you need some explanation. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about that homework. So you'll be given scenarios, okay? In each scenario, you're supposed to explain how will the GDP be affected? And if so, by which of the components? So you have to explain, like, for example, if C goes up, all things being equal, GDP will go up. Now, I have seen students simplistic answer before, or that they say, yeah, they're all affected. Big deal, yes, I know they're affected, but how? You have to give me the direction. Because if I hit you, you smile, you are reacting to it. Or you cry, you're reacting to it, but you're reacting positively and negatively differently. So you have to say GDP has gone up. I'm looking for the direction. Or GDP has come down as a result of whatever things that affect us, and which direction. And then finally, you also said it could be stay constant. Because if one up, the other one down, if C goes up, G comes down, then at the end, GDP stays more or less the same. You just have to explain it conceptually, instead of giving a number, okay? Or it could come down. So that's what I'm looking for, a little bit of explanation. And sometimes students misunderstand the problem. So let's just say it's only C goes up, G comes down. You won't have to explain what happened to I or NX. Because I see that some students answer, they do like that. They say this one is affected, and you could do it, but you only need to explain the one that's affected. The most important of all, how does it affect the GDP at the end? Okay, so now we're using the two different methods. First one is production method, the second one is expenditure method. So we want to show you, demonstrate to you that whatever method you use, right, at the end, the answers come out to be the same. So we look at the number of cars that we're going to be producing, and it's going to be 1 million cars. How many zeros are in a million?
6.
Did I hear 6? Okay. I have to do this every time just to make sure students know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a million. So, what about a billion? How many zeros? 9 zeros. Very good. Do we have another one? Yeah, we have another trillion. What about trillion?
12.
Sorry?
12.
Very good. 12. I know your calculator cannot do it, but do it slowly in stages. Oh, I have to count, so. Okay, great, that's 1 trillion. Okay, very good. So here it is, having explained that. So if there's an economy that produces 1 million cars and each car is worth 15,000, therefore, the production method is very straightforward, P times Q. So the unit price of a car is 15,000, you multiply by a million, which means you have 6 zeros and plus that 0 there, so you have 9 zeros, so you got 15 billion. So that's how you get that first number. The rest I won't explain like that because you could use a calculator to do it. Next, you want to compare with expenditure method. Break it down into all the various part, the consumption, investment, okay, and your C plus I raised it already. Okay, let's go ahead and write it down. So by the expenditure method you have, GDP equals to, okay, somebody help me out. So what is the first one? Consumption followed by? I, which is
Income.
investment.
Oh, investment.
Government
G, my
purchases.
bad.
Government purchases.
G, which is government purchases or expenditure.
And then NX.
NX, which is your net export. And again, NX means X minus M. X stands for export, M stands for import. You want that number to be positive because you want to be getting more money coming into your country, inflow of money by exporting. So if you import more, you got a negative net export. Okay, so here it is. Here's your C plus I plus G plus NX here. Now, notice that earlier we say how many? Was that 15 million? Yeah, okay. So 700,000 sold. Don't get confused with the price, okay? The price is the same. The price is 15,000, I think. Is that correct? And then the number or the quantity is 15. Is that right? Could somebody check again? Million. I think so. Let's check one more time. Oh, it's 1 million car. We're not producing so many. Where did I get that? Okay, so we have to break down this. So in other words, it's just, right here. So then we say, out of this 1 million cars, let's just say 700,000 sold to consumers. So that goes into your consumption. So you would take that 700K, 1,000, multiply by 15,000, you get 10.5 billion. So I'm not gonna go into detail how many zero, because you could use your calculator and then convert it into billion. Next one is 200,000 less sold to the business, and that will be considered as your investment. So 200,000 times 15,000, you get 3 billion, and then likewise for the third item, or component of GDP, we have government expenditure 50,000 only. And again, these are all in units, okay? You multiply by the unit price, you got 0.75 billion. Lastly, we give you the assumption that there is no import at all, only export. So therefore, your NX would be purely export, and that's 25,000 in number or quantity. Multiplied by unit price, you get 0.375 billion. Okay, take a look very quickly. We cover all, C plus I plus G plus NX, we add it all together. If you add it all together, do they add up to be a million? The number, quantity. If not, how much short? How many cars are short? Within a million. You could use your calculator. Oh, come on, you know the answer. Start thinking. Can y'all count with me? Yes. I used to have a student who sat at the back, he said he knew the answer, and then I said, how do you know? He could do it in your head, you know. And then he said he has an Asian mind. And everybody laughed, I don't know why. So, but here it is, 700K, 200K, 50K, 25K. If you add it all up together, how many K do you have?
5K. 875K.
Sorry?
875,000.
One more time.
875.
One more time.
9,000.
One more time.
875,000.
I know. What about other people, please?
975.
975.
Oh, my
Okay,
bad.
700 plus 200 is 900. 50 plus 25 is 75. So you should add up to be 975K. But that's okay. At least you try. Okay, I appreciate the effort as well. So 975K. How much is it short from that million? I'm waiting for the answer. Yes. Yes? If you can do big number, these are not big number.
25,000.
Yes, 25K, right? So 25K is not big. So because if you add all this up, it's 975. Do we have to do this? Okay, let's do it. Let's see how much fun we have. This is more fun than raising the table. Maybe. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Yes. 25K. Don't make me do that. Next time you know the answer, just go ahead and say it. Yes. If you're wrong, it's okay. Everybody got calculator? Have calculator will A's. Remember? Didn't I say that last time? Have gun with Trevor. So if you have calculator, you will A's in this class. Okay, so that's what we have. Thank you, and that would be Dante, right? Thank you, Mr. Pitt. 975,000 was sold in number, and 25,000 left, and we put it in inventory, and we have to count that inventory. Okay, go back to your note before. That inventory goes into which of the components of GDP? Is it C? Is it I? Is it G? Is it NX? So the kind of question you have to ask yourself very soon. Let's show us what page it is. Remember last time we looked at that table where you have the breakdown of everything. Consumption is broken down into durables, non-durable services.
The one on 50.
Investment is, yes, thank you, table 4.2 on page 50. Okay, tell me, inventory goes into which of the four big components in GDP? Very good, investment, the third item, right? Everybody see it, investment consists of business fixed investment, residential investment, and finally inventory. So that goes into inventory, so at 25K, again, we multiply by unit price to get 0.275K. Now we're okay, we add up everything together already. But, so now if you were to add everything up together, that's your C. And these two together, that's your inventory. The other one is fixed business investment, which we didn't specify, coming from here. Okay, in your homework problem, that's what you have to do. You have to specify. So I'm using this example to help you to answer your homework problem. And then, of course, we got G, 0.75, and then we got NX, 0.375. So there. The other two, G and NX, add up. So you got two items in the I component, in the investment component in this example. Add all up together, you get 15 billion. So everybody is happy because if you use the GDP method to calculate, you get 15 billion. As compared to if you use production method, you get 15 billion too. So again, in your homework problem, when you give the answer, please tell me which part of the GDP, which component is being affected, and in what direction. So that's called rigorous answer. So it's not like simplistic answer like, yes, it's affected positively or negatively, but wait, how? You have to explain the process as well. Well, the last method that we didn't talk about is the, Jacqueline, I think you said the last two methods. The last one is what? Income method, right? Okay, so here's the income method. You could divide it up into two types of income. The first one is labor. Labor consists of things that we earn, such as wages and salaries. Income of the people who are being self-employed goes into income, labor income component. And the second type of income is known as capital income. We talked about capital, the term capital the other day. These are the kind of things that dollar values contributed by profits, rent. If you have some property you lease out to people, that's your rent, and that will count towards your capital income. You got savings account, CD, money market, you earn interest. That goes into capital income, royalties. What is royalties? Anybody want to explain what is a royalties? Have you all heard that term before? Okay, yes. You are. Is that? No, that's the other way. Destiny. Meredith? Is that you? Okay. Yes. What is royalties?
Are those royalties for like if you sell an album?
Music, CD.
Yeah, like
Yep.
The producer gets like royalties.
Right. So if you buy Michael Jackson's album or CD, then he gets part of the royalties. If you buy the textbook, the authors get the royalties. I think it's about, I'm trying to remember, because I get some too, because I produce, with, not this book I created, I have another version, it's an Asian version, what I did with the original authors. And unfortunately, they won't allow me to sell it in this country, so they can only sell it in Asia. So even though it's the same and examples are slightly different, so that's a royalties. I get about something like 25%, half or 25% because there are two authors. So that's what you get, and it could be artwork, like if you produce a piece of art, any creative work. So books, CDs, and artwork. You have something called royalties that you pay to the original artist. So you could see that since there are two types and the big chunk goes to, or 3/4 of it goes to labor income, capital income only consists of about 25%. So if you use this method, right, it should add up to be the same as compared to if you use the other three methods. So in this particular context for your textbook material, we just let you know there is such a income methods way of calculating GDP, but we never did a lot of time emphasize so much on it. We emphasize more on the expenditure method. So there it is, labor income is about 3/4, capital income is about 1/4. But if you look at the expenditure method, you get big chunks of it goes to consumption. Definitely more than 50%, it looks like about 60% there. And you got investment, which is actually less than government purchases or expenditure. And then net export is just a small part of GDP. So again, if you go back to this table, 4.2, you see the breakdown. The biggest number usually goes to that consumptions right there, which consists of durable goods, non-durable goods, and services. Yeah, we should spend more than the government spend, right? Because what's the population of the United States now? Anybody? Give me some ballpark figures.
Like 7
6
billion.
billion. 6 billion?
No,
7.
that's very, no,
Wait, the US or the
that's
whole
the world population. Just the US, just the US. That's the world population, 6 billion, which is very big, yeah. Roughly, yeah. US,
2 billion.
oh, you have no idea. Okay. Give you a hint, yeah. So it's in the millions. M. So give me some figure to start off with. What do you want? Well, start with counting yourself.
Look at that.
Then your neighbor. I know that's a long way, yeah. And then your county,
It's 3 million?
and then your state.
3 million?
I say, did I say, yeah, it's in the millions, yeah.
3 million?
Higher?
5?
I'm sorry?
5 million?
Well, a lot more.
25 million.
A lot more.
200?
10 more times. Yes?
300
Oh,
million.
300 million.
Did you check?
Yes.
You cheater.
I kept saying
Let me have your cell phone. Let me have your cell phone. Yes.
You want it?
Okay, put it away now. I don't want to see it. Well, at least he's honest. So what's the number?
It was
Roughly about
318.
120
Yeah, there you go.
million.
Just round it up.
Oh, better be careful if I throw out extra credit. Yeah.
Did I not get extra credit for that?
No. Because you're not supposed to use a cell phone. In fact, that you get demerit point. Well, I'm not gonna do it this time. At least that makes you think, yeah. So everybody knows the answer now. Next time I'm coming, I'm gonna ask you that question again. Because I think you should know. If your mom and dad call you tonight, and say, have you learned anything from that ECN 2030? Yes, I know. The population of the USA is 320 million. She said, oh, really? Wow, my daughter and my son learned something. And UNCP. Yeah. Okay, now you know. All right, Nate, sometimes I ask students to send me email and give me the answer, but again, if you cheat, that's no good. It's not how fast you get to it, it's more like you find time, and it's not gonna be so easy. You have to give me the URL, everything, you just spell it out. Because some students type in wrong thing, they say 320 billions, and this becomes billions, or it becomes like 32 minutes, they forget to type the zero. All sorts of things happen. So I'm training you to be very precise in your thinking and number, because you need that when you do your final project. So let's look at this number here. We got two sets of years here, 2009 and 2013. Okay? And there are two products. What are the products? Yeah, talking about food again. Pizza and calzones. What is calzones?
Deliciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Italian, it's kind of like a turnover, but inside it's got all those same ingredients, cheese and all that. It's really Italian.
filling.
Okay. Anyway, so 2009 we got 10 pizza example. Now we got 15 calzones, and in fact, some Italian will pronounce it calzone. They don't say the S, but that's okay. We'll accept calzone for now. Okay, price of pizza is 10, price of calzones is 5. So what we do is we use that summation, remember? In the first day of class, the other day we did PI, XI, right? So P1, X1 plus P2, X2. So in order to calculate the GDP, we take P times Q. So the first price, 10 times 10, plus 15 times 5. Ooh, that number is not there. Okay, use your calculator now, everybody. Right. If you don't have it, use your head, use your pencil, and paper. Anybody has that number? Please bring a calculator to the class next time. So if you don't have it, you could use your paper and pen to do it, please. I'm gonna randomly ask one of you to give me that answer. Come on, it's so easy. 10 times 10 is? 100, yes. 15 times 5 is? Oh! 75, thank you. Did you use calculator? Well, I think, okay, never mind. You could use calculator or you could use your head, okay? So 75 is the answer. So the answer should be 100 plus 75 should be? 175 for the first one. The second one, let's do it by head. 20 times 12 is?
240.
240. Everybody got it? Okay. The next set of numbers should be?
180.
180. Everybody okay with that? You sure? Guzlon, you okay? Okay, so they add up to be what? The second set of numbers.
120.
The first set of numbers add up to be, the 2009 GDP is, once again,
240.
don't let other people do the thinking for you. You do your own thinking, because on the test day, you're gonna do your own thinking. You're not gonna look at your neighbor and say, what's your answer? Okay, so the first 100 plus 75, so it's 175, right? The second one will be, if you can't do it slowly. So it'll be 200,
120.
240, excuse me, right? Plus, that will be 180, so you can do this by paper, right? Use your paper. Yeah, like that, 240, 180, use the traditional way. 0, 0, 12, 4, right? So you got 420. So I'd like for you to actively participate in, because we'll have in-class exercise very soon. So it's not going to be passive, because you're not learning anything. You could go to another class where it's more passive, because that's why we meet in this room. 420 is the answer here. Okay, take 420 divided by 175 if you have your calculator. What's that answer? Okay, I'm waiting for an answer. If you have it, raise your hand. Okay, how about Andre? Do you have it?
I'm sorry?
Do you have the answer?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you can do it with your calculator or you can do it by hand. Jonathan, do you have the answer?
It's 2.4.
Very good. I take that. 2.4. Okay, so let's look at it. The output has doubled between 2009 to 2013 because Tiantan, the quantity of pizza has been doubled from 10 to 20. The quantity of calzones have been doubled from 15 to 30. Okay? However, the GDP, as we calculated, is 2.4. So it's not quite exactly double, but it's more than double. And one of the reasons is because, watch this, the price has gone up by
$2.
$2.10, so that's 1/5 or 20%. And this is 5 to 6, so a dollar out of 5. So again, that's 1/5 or 20%. So they've gone up by 20%. So what we're observing here is, even though the output have been doubled for the whole economy, okay, but GDP increased by a lot more, 2.4. So yes, prices have gone up. We recognize that there's such a thing called inflation. We say that in this particular case, we observed that the GDP had overstated the economic growth. Economic growth in terms of the number of things you have, the number of pizza, the number of calzone. So we're asking ourselves, is this the correct way to calculating it? To calculate it, the answer is no, there's a better way. So because of that, I want to introduce this. This is in your book. If you find it, tell me what page so we can get to it very quickly. Page 55. Could I get a volunteer to read what is real GDP in your book? Danny, you want to read it? Or you're smiling like you're reading too much already. Okay, give other people a chance. Is that what you feel?
Nah.
Okay, go ahead and read it. At least the first one, yeah. I'm giving you a chance now.
A measure of GDP in which the quantities produced are valued at the prices in a base year rather than at current prices. Real GDP measures the actual physical volume of production.
Okay, very good. Thank you. You see, sometimes I ask you to read because then you remember better. So you should thank me. I'm giving you an opportunity, right? Yeah. Right. So don't be afraid if I call on you because I want to give it to you, Okay, so let's look at a keyword. So for nominal GDP, we look for something that's calculated in the current year. Okay, that's your nominal GDP. And real GDP, we have to have something called base year, the basic way. We will look at the example and then I'll come back to this definition, which will make a lot more sense later. So let's look at what is a base year. Okay, a base year, I am going to give you a layman's definition. I like to do that because you remember a little bit better. This is the year that is free from any economic disturbances. You do not want to have any high unemployment rate in the base year. The year that you use as a base year. For example, everybody heard of September 11? What year was it? Sorry?
2001.
2001, yes. So you do not want to use that year because that year recession started. You do not want to use year 2007 because that's when the Great Recession started. So you do not want to use a year that has high unemployment rate, high inflation rate, and recession. Stay away from this year. Okay, that's all that they say. Okay, now we're revising our answer now. So what we do now is what we looked at earlier, the calculation that we did was based on what we call nominal GDP. Okay, and in this calculation, everything is the same, the number, but the calculation is a little bit different now. We'll see how and why. So this is a case where you introduce real GDP. And real GDP is something that, to use a layman's term so you could understand a little bit better, is you have taken into account the inflation effects, whereas the one before you did not. Okay, so let's look at how we calculate using real GDP instead of the nominal GDP. So I should write this down. nominal versus real GDP. This is sort of important. I'm going to give you a 5-star concept. Okay, let's go back to our assumption. We assume that base year is in 2009. We are only 2 years, so you have to pick one year. We picked 2009 as a base year. Okay, and for the year that is a base year, the nominal GDP and the real GDP for that particular year is going to be the same because you base it off that year. Okay, so that's what it means. In the base year or the year 2009, your real GDP and nominal GDP are going to be the same. You don't have to calculate it. Yeah. So if you go back to the other slides, right, you remember we calculated the GDP nominal. Well, the GDP we calculated before for 2009 was the nominal GDP. So that was 175 if you recall. So the real GDP for 2009, same. Use the same method, 10 times 10 plus 15 times 5. So you got 175. However, for the other year, 2013, you now have a base year. So what you do is a calculation for real GDP for 2013 is different now. How different is it? Let's take a look. The quantity stays the same. 20 remains the same, 30 remains the same. The prices are now based on the base year price, 10 and 5 instead of 12 and 6. Okay, get it? So if you do it this way, and it could be a number of years, this is just 1 year for you to calculate. Okay, I think in the next class you'll be ready. We'll have in-class exercise. You definitely want to bring your calculator. Because we'll actually do it in the class and then have you hand in. So these are some of the quick one in-class exercise you do sometime. We might be able to get to it, we'll see. Yeah. So anyway, so if you calculate it this way, as you can see the highlighted red one are the base year price for respective items. The calzone and the pizza. We're not using the new inflated price, but we're using the base year prices for each product. So if you do that, the answer is 350 because 20 times 10 is, come on, 200 thinking. 30 times 5 is 150, 150 plus 210, so you have, is that right? 150 plus 200, so you got 350, right? So again, if you take 350, divide by 175, what do you have? What's your answer?
2.
Yes?
2.
Dante says 2, correct, very good. 2 is correct. So in other words, you're no longer, if you use this particular method, or what we call real GDP to compute the GDP, you're exactly right. You're not overestimating the GDP. So let's go back to that definition that Daniel has read earlier. That is, nominal GDP, you look at the quantities, you look at the current year, the prices as well as the quantity. Okay, so the nominal GDP actually measures the current dollar value of production. You're not doing any deflating. Now the real GDP, on the other hand, they are valued at a price in a base year. Once again, that was the year before. You pick a year that's free from economic disaster or disturbances, rather than at the current prices. Again, one more step further, real GDP measure the actual physical volume of production. So that's what it means. If you go back there, you look at the volume here, but the prices are based on base year price. So you think you're familiar with how to do it because we ask you a question like that on your test. So make a mark of that, make a note of that. So when I drop hints, I hope you get it. 2004, output of the U.S. economy. Oh, that was very old. What happened? Where's my new one? Okay, let's look at our book. Our book has the latest one. Yeah. Okay, how about page 57? Let's take a look. If you have your book, that would be helpful. Figure 4.2. Everybody did? So if you look at it, right, hey, it's say real GDP in 2013. This is the one I'm looking at, everybody. You have your book. So the real GDP in 2013, which is more recent now, 3 years ago, right? Were you born yet? Were you born yet? You don't know. Yeah, you were born in 2013, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
You say yes.
Yeah, well, not
No.
I was already born in 96.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, you have been born already. Yes. Real GDP in 2013 is roughly 15 times its level in 1929 during the beginning of the Great Depression. I would appreciate if you put away your cell phone at this point, and so I would not be distracted. Yeah. And about 5 times as large as it was in 1960. So as you can see, in this graph and even this one, GDP is going up historically. Okay? You okay? Yes, Nick, you have a question? Yes. No? Okay. Do you have a calculator? No? Okay, please bring one. I appreciate it. Yeah. Do you have one? Are you using one now? Okay. Don't use your cell phone calculator. Put away your cell phone. Thank you. Everybody. Okay, so basically it's going up. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want to cover that because GDP is going to cover that, the next chapter. So now, this is toward the end, and then I'm going to go to the next chapter because this is very packed. Okay, now is GDP everything? The answer is no. Why not? Now, remember that real GDP, if you calculate the GDP of, say, China versus USA, you get the value, you compare the value, and that's one of your projects you'll be doing. Yeah, coming up, I will talk about it very soon, coming up, the next slides or so. So, it's not the same as economic well-being. What exactly is economic well-being? The welfare. Economic well-being measures quality. GDP does not tell you quality, just tell you, yeah, the number is big, but hey, what about the quality? You look at China's GDP almost catch up with USA's GDP now. What about human rights? What about pollution? Do they have it? Okay, if you look at leisure time, shorter work week, countries like France, they have a very short work week compared to the US work week. A lot of you start work later because your opportunity cost is going to college to get a degree. Okay, so in other words, you postpone your earning years. So a lot of people are still trying to decide. Knowing one of my classes is always asking, scratching your head, is it worth it to get a college degree? Why don't I be happy with a high school diploma? And then when they compare the wages, it's a huge difference. So you're in a better place today. It's worth it. So finish a 4-year degree. Retire early. Okay, in other countries like France, they might retire at age 50, 55. In the US, it's 65. So all this are not taken into consideration. We just look at the value, the big number. How about non-market economic activities? What are they? Now remember that the GDP does not count household production. What is household production? What's one example of household production? Husband and wife. Husband comes home and wife say, hey, honey, I've done a lot of work today. Guess what? I put the baby to sleep and I did 5 loads of laundry. That's about right. I cooked a wonderful supper, including your favorite pudding, coconut cake. By the way, honey, you owe me $250 for all the work I put in. We don't do that because that household production, yes, it's productive, but it's not counted in GDP. Same thing. It's Mother's Day. I like Mother's Day as an example. What month is this now? Oh yeah, it is coming. What's the next event? Valentine's Day. Yes, yeah. How can we forget that? Okay. So you're building a very nice bookcase, and you're going to impress your girlfriend. And this is a surprise you're going to present to her on Valentine's Day. And you spend maybe 2 months working on it. It's very nice, got her name on it, Oh boy, she would love it. And then on Valentine's Day, you present to her. She almost cries until you say, by the way, honey, it cost me $500 to do this. Slap, 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 and no, break up, So you wouldn't ask for it. It's a household production that does not have any value. You won't be asking like, would you give me a receipt? Well, like this illegal underground economy. How many times you watch on TV, like, they carry this aluminum case, you know, the shiny type. And when you open it, it's got all this $100 bill in it. This is a drug money, okay? They're dealing with a drug dealers, you know, across the table. And when the transaction is done, can you imagine if you were to say, by the way, could you please issue me a copy of the receipt? No, because the next thing happen is bang, your history. You don't ask for a receipt because it's an illegal transaction, right? What if you ask your Uncle Bob sometimes to come to your house, fix the plumbing because it's leaking? Your Uncle Bob came by and fixed everything and said, oh yeah, this is wonderful, you know, it's all fixed now and no more leaking and your commode is in good shape. Say, oh, thank you so much, and here's a token. Have you heard about the word token? A gesture of thanks, and you will not ask for receipt and maybe $20 for coffee. I know that's a lot for coffee, yeah, but it's a gesture, okay? And there's no receipt that's being issued at all. So these are non-market economic activities. Volunteer services. September 11, at Ground Zero, what happened? How many of you have been to Ground Zero since it happened? You know, I was in the World Trade Center in June of 2000. My son and my family were up there. We were on the top level where they sell. There's a restaurant on top. This is before it happened. You don't know because were you born already? Should be, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, oh my.
I cannot count because every year, you know, it used to be 70. Students were born in the 70s. Now, what year were you all born? 90s? Give me a year. Like
94 was
nine- 96? 97, 96, somewhere there, okay. Oh boy. Anyway, we were up there. My son, okay, he was born in 96.
Okay.
So now you can relate what I'm saying. So he was up there, and we were all up there on the top floor and eating pizza. Guess what? Pizza. Yeah, out of all places. And this souvenir shop, you know, we bought this wonderful New York Taxi soft toy. Have you seen this? It's so cute. You can squeeze it. It's a New York Taxi soft toy. Have you heard that? You can squeeze it, and it's really, oh man, we still have it.
I don't think I would.
And it was, we had a good time, in other words. So the next year I was working in Singapore, and because we saw on the TV, like September 11, oh, look at that smoke coming out from a building, you know. I told my son about it, he cried. I said, what's wrong? He said, oh, all the soft toys, they were gone. He cares more about all those things that were gone, you know, like the soft stuffed animals, and instead of like, well, kids didn't understand back then. Well, how old were you, September 11?
How old was your son?
Well, see?
Yeah,
Well,
I was
same
saying
thing. I'm asking you because,
See how old it was.
you know, to get the number, you know, how old my son was. He was born in 96. Anyway, so at Ground Zero, so some of you have been back to New York City, right? How many of you have? At Ground Zero. Okay, since it happened. Now, so remember when it happened at Ground Zero, they had a lot of volunteers. The firemen, the policemen were all around helping to pull out this debris so they could save as many lives as possible. They weren't paid. These are volunteer services. So if you count those hours that were put in, you know, there's economic value that were being created, but we didn't count this. So all this is saying that, well, countries like India, for example. Anybody been to India? Okay. If you walk on the street of Calcutta, this is, well, I mean, it's an emerging economies now. They have a lot of street vendors and peddlers selling all sorts of merchandises like watches and stuff like that. You could get your watch repaired for 25 cents, US dollars. So yeah, these are not counted, but these are like, you know, like informal sector of the economy is a big part of some third world emerging economy. We're not counting that. So in other words, you know, GDP is not everything. How about quality of life? Environmental quality, we talked about that earlier in China. New Mexico, Mexico City is famous for pollution, traffic jams, and you have a lot of this air pollution there. They're not taking into account. Every time you pump out oil or natural gas out of the reserves, you have less of it. So we're not counting that. We're not, GDP is not adjusted for resource depletion. It's not taking into account the quality of the stuff that you have. The quality of life in big city like New York City, you have crime rate, you have traffic congestion. In North Carolina, we have open space. Correct? Everybody agree? We got tobacco. We got soybean. What else do we have? Marijuana? I'm kidding, yeah. I don't know why I get into it. Yes, we do have a lot of space, including growing marijuana illegally. Open space, we got civic organization, all that. So what? New York City has highest GDP maybe in the country. Robeson County is a small place. We have low GDP, but hey, we got quality of life. Some people might argue in terms of spaces. Poverty and economic inequality, GDP does not capture the effects of income inequality. Aha! This is a very important aspect. In any economic class, we talk about economic inequality. If you look at this country, it is impossible because it is virtually impossible because the rich becomes too rich and then the poor becomes too poor. And other countries, how many of you have been to Switzerland? Okay, you've been there, very good. I've been there, I think it was 15 years ago now. I remember I was there for Christmas, believe it or not. So one Christmas I was there, and you walk out the street, you don't see a homeless person, I could tell you, right? Did you see any homeless person? Everybody seems rich. So they have very good, very equal income distribution in that country. The country is small, it's easy to measure it. So basically, GDP does not measure all that. GDP has some sort of a shortcoming. It's not measuring quite that. Okay, next I want to go quickly to cover a few slices of the next chapter so we wouldn't have too much to do with next time. Oh, you don't really want to do it? Yeah, I could see. Okay, never mind. How about learn your name?
Raise the table.
So,
Oh yeah, you said you was gonna raise the
oh,
table.
you want to do it? Oh, the table!
Yeah.
People are for real! Okay, yeah.
She was gonna forget.
I'm sorry, they didn't want to test.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Oh,
That's how low goes now.
It's not too bad. Gershon, you could do it. You tall now. How tall are you? You, yeah.
6 foot.
You are 6, so you probably okay, you. So, now, if you're short, when you do your presentation, remember. Okay, I'm gonna give you all start back and then I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, I'm not gonna start it. So be sure you get this from me on your way out. Okay, and this is out of 2. If you don't understand how I mark it, please let me know. That's you, right? Is that you?
yeah, that is.
Okay, where is Ara? Is that you? How did that happen?
The next one.
Yeah, I could do it faster. Yes. How did that happen? You are.
Oh, she said it's
Oh, yeah. See, this is all in order. How did that happen? Adrian, see? India. How did that happen? Margaret? Is that you? Wow. Andre? Destiny is left and James? Daniel. Wow. Very good.
So this means that I have.
Out of 2. No. 1 out of 2. 2 out of 2. Isn't that a part? Oh, yeah. Yes, you can read, but please read the next chapter ahead of time, and you have a homework for you.